I'm Gabby, and you're listening to While I've Got You. Let's start the show. So, I was watching a great show that I enjoy called High Potential this week, and specifically the background story happening in this episode centers around our main character's teenage daughter, Ava. She's a biracial girl who earns her spot and beats out like 60 other candidates for this fashion class that she wants to take. She's excited, her mom's excited, and before the excitement can really set in, she sees a kid at school post saying that, well, we all know why Ava got that position in this class, basically implying that she got it because she's black. And what moved me most this week is how the writers handled that feeling of being underestimated. Anyways, the main character is a white woman, the mother is a white woman, and while she admits and acknowledges that she's been underestimated all of her life as well, she's never been underestimated for the color of her skin. And so she understands that she can only show up so much and so well for her daughter in this space. That, in combination with it being the day before Oscars 2026, it's reminding me a little bit of a lot of the conversation that I've been seeing online right now. If you're listening to this when it comes out, then you probably know that one of the biggest competitors against the film Sinners in the awards space right now is Timothée Chalamet's Marty Supreme. And you also know that Timothée Chalamet made a comment about basically ballet and opera being dying professions that no one cares about. I think specifically he says he doesn't want to work in a profession or have a job that no one cares about. And that's been upsetting to a lot of people, as it should be. But the rhetoric that I'm noticing is that while Sinners is up for so many awards for Oscars tomorrow night, Oscars, Best Film of the Year, all of those types of things, people are starting to say maybe Sinners will pull ahead because of Timothée Chalamet's comment. Like maybe they'll beat out Marty Supreme. And I think it's so interesting that the conversation, even ahead of the Oscars, is did they earn it or did Timmy just mess up? I was listening to a quick little soundbite clip on Instagram of two podcasters saying that they secretly hope that it's like Sinners doing a smear campaign to pull ahead, as though they would need to do a smear campaign. I just want to take a second and talk about the film Sinners. If you've seen it, then you know how good it is. If you haven't seen it, what are you doing? What are you waiting for? Check it out. Sinners has been so exciting and so impactful for me, not only because everyone was absolutely incredible in it, but it also showed a black experience that we don't always get to see. A story that isn't always told. The creation of music, the connection of black people to different genres of music, our place that as black people we've carved out in this country, and how it's been erased and changed and skewed and perverted by colonization. There's so much. This entire episode is not intended to be about how spiritually, emotionally, historically rich the film Sinners is, in addition to all of the nuances and little work that went into making each scene stick out. I really want to talk about that there is this retroactive bar drop that happens when people, specifically people of color, rise to the occasion. As you know, we've already have to be 3 times better, show up perfect. There's no room for error, no room to be human. And even when you reach that pinnacle, even when you reach the place that has been deemed the criteria, already a different criteria for you, it's a lot higher, it's a lot harder to achieve. Even when you get that, instead of recognizing that power, instead of recognizing, wow, they really did it, how impressive, how powerful. Like, black girl magic, black boy magic, none of that comes. There's always an excuse. There's always like a caveat for why something like that was possible, why black people were able to create or do something like that. Another way that this has shown up that I've noticed over the years is when I was in high school, over 10 years ago. Good Lord. When I was in high school, I remember posting something generic on Facebook and saying something like, congratulations to all my classmates, to anybody who just got accepted to college. I just got accepted. It was something along those lines. And I'll never forget that a fellow senior that was relatively unimpressive, pretty below average, not class president, not playing any sports, not really doing anything exciting, commented that he was pissed that he didn't get into his dream school. And he knew that the reason he didn't get into his dream school was affirmative action. Like a statement that I know and you know, they didn't email or mail him his rejection letter and say, sorry, you know how it is, affirmative action. So we had no evidence and no proof of that. And the assumption that someone else was chosen over him, and the only reason not being because they were a better student or they were more interesting or they had done more, they had risen to that bar. He was like, well, obviously it's because someone less deserving than me got it. So there's got to be a catch. And to him, that catch was affirmative action. But that's kind of the machine, that the bar drops retroactively. And so it stops being about the greatness that was created, the greatness that was produced, the challenge that we have risen to and met. It becomes, well, they've got an advantage. They got a shortcut. Now, I don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. And I'm anticipating that, based off of the narrative that I have seen kind of buzzing and generating online beforehand, that the win is not going to be because Sinners was the best film of the year. This is going to be the narrative, that Sinners didn't win, Marty Supreme just lost. And to me, I declare that on this here Saturday, the night before the Oscars, that's some bullshit. Sinners was an incredible movie, win or lose. It was powerful, impactful, great, and, in my humble opinion, though the Oscars did not call me and ask me, it is the best movie of the year. To kind of close the loop and come back to High Potential and where this noticing this week happened, the woman that Ava goes to get advice from is her mom's coworker, a black woman. And at the end of the episode, Daphne says to Ava, we cannot control what others say or do. And you don't have to change yourself for any of that. Decide who you are in this world despite how it sees you. Do what makes you happy, because your path isn't about proving anything to anyone. It's about choosing a life that's most true for you. Every single time. To my fellow black folks, to the cast and crew of Sinners, regardless of Sunday night's outcome, you don't have anything to prove to anyone. We see who you are deciding to be in your joy, in your triumph, and in your power. That's all I've got for you guys tonight. Be blessed, and I'll talk to you again soon.